everyone. Welcome back to the program. I'm sitting here today with Josh. Josh, thank you so much for being part of the program.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Yes. For those who are not familiar with the work you're doing, let them know about yourself.
All right. My name is Josh Smith. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee. I'm married to a beautiful wife, two wonderful children. And my work is I own 4 martial arts studios in the greater Nashville area. And over the last year, I've started traveling, doing some keynote presentations, primarily on the topics of drug addiction, broken family, prison, business success, recovery, etc. But I also have a secondary presentation that's near and dear to my heart, and it deals with anti-bullying and cyberbullying. Lost my brother 4 years ago to suicide, and it was over a cyberbullying incident. And so I've been giving that presentation a lot as well.
I actually had the chance to hear that presentation. It's a powerful, powerful talk. I think everyone should hear it. Now, for just a quick overview, for those who are not familiar with the story of your brother, could you share a quick overview on that story?
Absolutely. And I highly recommend just doing a Google search of the name Channing Smith suicide, and Google will populate 100 different news articles because it was covered by every major news network in the entire world. But in short, 4 years ago, my brother had been having a same-sex relationship in the capacity of text messages. Anyhow, we never could verify that it was physical or real or any of those things. But regardless, the boy that he was texting with released the text messages that they had been exchanging, took screenshots, put them on Snapchat and Instagram for everyone to see. Well, my brother lived in a very small middle Tennessee town that had super political right conservative belief systems, and he was just really embarrassed about the ridicule and things that awaited him at school, and ended up taking his life over the situation. Of course, it was more complicated than that. There were broken home, many marriages and divorces, and a lot of things. And so that's actually part of my presentation that I give the kids at school, is really that you have no idea that you might just be messing with someone or doing something, and kind of poking fun, kids being kids, so to speak. But it might be the straw that breaks the camel's back, because you really have no idea the heavy burden that someone's carrying around on the inside because of the home life that they might be living.
I'd like to kind of tackle this in two parts. Part number one, from your side of the equation, right? How do you overcome grief for those who are experiencing grief? Maybe some strategies there. And then, of course, the other side is for those individuals who are being bullied and experiencing the hardship and difficulty that your brother experienced.
Excellent questions. And I like that. As a man, a lot of times I don't think about grief and hurting, and no one asks you those things a lot of times either. Like, those are probably familiar questions when girls connect with each other. So I appreciate you asking that. And I went through several stages. In the beginning, I was hyper focused. I was like bordering on obsessed with my brother's situation of trying to bring justice for him. And the reason why is because I was riddled with guilt. He had called me 2 weeks prior to killing himself, asking me to help him get away from the custody of my father. And I'm 21 years older than my brother. And I didn't realize that he was that delicate with what he had going on in his life. I didn't understand the severity of it. So a whole lot of it, when he died, I took on the guilt of feeling like, well, it was my fault. I didn't do what I should have done. And if I had done that, I could have prevented this. And I've talked to other people that have been in similar situations since then, and they said that's common, like for you to absorb that, guilt, and carry that. So I felt like I had to almost get justice for him somehow, some way. And I spent like the next year or two, every waking moment, making a social media post, trying to get a news outlet involved, trying to call other authorities, politicians. I mean, it was just like that, that, that. And then something really weird happened about a year and a half, maybe 2 years after. I went through this next stage where I didn't want to mention his name. I wouldn't make a post, even on the day he died, his birthday, nothing. Like, it was just like, bam. And I shut down over it. And it was like almost like this opposite, the pendulum went the other way with it. And I haven't talked to anyone to know if that's normal, but I'm assuming, people go through stages of this. And so I'm at a place now where I'm sharing, and it was kind of odd when I met you. We were doing this speaker competition. And I decided that that was going to be the first time that I had talked about it since I had gone through that secondary stage. And I hadn't been talking about it, but it was very therapeutic to get together a presentation and talk about it. And it was so crazy, as you heard, it turned out that the day I gave the presentation, I mean, talk about like the energy of God in the universe. It was the day he died, the anniversary of his death, the day I gave that presentation. And I had not hardly mentioned him in 2 years, like because I'd just been holding it down. So the day I talked about it was the day that he died. And so that was just amazing. And then the second part to your question was,
And then the other side of that is for those individuals who are experiencing the experience that your brother experienced, that bullying, rather it be cyber, rather it be physical, what type of strategies could we provide for that individual that's suffering that type of experience?
the and right now I'm formulating this presentation that I'm giving in Newark, New Jersey at a middle school here in like 10 or 12 days. And so I've been actively working on this every day for the last week. And it's basic things. I'm a martial arts instructor by trade. And so I'm dealing with kids a lot of times that have been bullied and their parents are bringing them in to get classes. And the number one thing they're really hoping to get out of that, believe it or not, is not like learning how to beat people up. And that's actually a far stretch for someone that's being bullied. A lot of times they don't have the confidence. So the key word that I just use is confidence. We need to develop confidence. It's not about punching and kicking or beating up your bully, although I mean that could be an option on down the road if you had to do that.
Mhm,
But the first things first is just developing some confidence, because once you have that, you radiate that, and people do not typically mess and victimize with people with confidence.
mhm,
And but it's like a catch 22, because people who are being victimized and bullied a lot of times start to socially withdraw, and the last thing they want to do is go do bouts of exercise or sparring matches or wrestling matches with other kids and students. And so they become like even more introverted as this bullying process goes on, because there's so much fear attached to, like, if I meet new people or if I put myself out there, people are looking at me, what if I suck at this? And then it complicates, even more people are judging me and bullying me or whatever. So the key in the strategies that I came up with my presentation in the next week or two is that, one, you need to tell someone. And I know we live in this world of like, well, what if I snitch on my bully and he finds out and they don't take enough action to stop him? And now there's retribution like 10x of what
mhm.
he's going to do, or she. Don't let me just say he. There's
Right.
an enormous amount of females that do this.
Mhm,
So the thing is, you need to tell someone. They need to be aware of it. You need to develop confidence. Confidence is developed by doing hard things. That's how you build confidence. When you overcome each level of hard thing in your life, you get more confident at it. There's basic things too that I know a lot of schools and people don't want to talk about, but it's basic hygiene. I deal with a lot of kids, and so I see a lot of things over the last decade of my life. And you need to brush your teeth and take a bath. As simplistic as that is, but a stinky kid at school with bad breath or body odor or something like that is a ready-made target for other kids to, and that's a simple fix.
mhm.
But it's things that when kids are coming from broken families and no one's watching over them real closely. And I have a 14-year-old. If you didn't make him take a bath and brush his teeth, he probably wouldn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And but those are simple things that will get
Mhm,
kids picked on at school. They need to take a look in the mirror before they leave every single day, just to kind of, I mean, you can have whatever style or clothing or haircut and thing you want, but make sure it's intentional and you're not just showing up and looking any old kind of way that you didn't intend on looking. And then physical fitness is another one. If you look, not to mention the psychological benefits that come from doing physical exercise, which is huge. But the second thing to that is that physically fit people radiate confidence, and nothing will. Bullies are not confident people, although they appear to be, and they run their mouths and do all these things. But confident people don't feel the need to go victimize other people.
mhm.
So you have to psychoanalyze that they're not confident either. But the last thing that someone wants to go mess with, I assure you, is a physically fit human. You don't know if they can fight or not, but there's something in your vision says, I'm not going after the physically fit person.
Mhm.
And so I know that's kind of a complicated thing, but those are very simplistic answers that tell someone, make sure your physical health, that your hygiene health, and lastly, I would add to that, to be a part of, whether it be clubs, games, activities, and things. And once again, that goes into being complicated and difficult if you're socially isolating. But there is strength in numbers. So when you have a tribe around you of people, you're not the odd person out that makes it easy for someone to come pick you off.
Hmm. At the start of the year, Josh, people either set a New Year's resolutions or they establish one word, and this one word anchors everything they do for the rest of the year. What do you tend to lean on, one word or New Year's resolutions?
Well, I have yearly goals. I've never really liked the word New Year's resolution per se. Uh, but I am big on written goals. Matter of fact, I'm in my home office right now, and I am so big on that I write my goals down every single day and date it. It's just a little paragraph day by day. And then each year I have written goals, and there's like a personal relationship, there's investing, a debt strategy, a business goal. Nothing too complicated. I mean, and I even have a do not list. So it's kind of like an
Mm.
anti, like things like don't do this. And those are isolated to three things. But I'm a very organized, very disciplined person. So if I could use one word, I would probably be the one word person. And that word is discipline. I
Mm.
believe that it trumps everything: intelligence, feelings, motivation, everything. I think discipline is the key.
Now, if there was one word that you could use which would encapsulate your life's work, what would that one word be?
Hope. Yeah, I haven't gotten to share too much. I know we were really talking about like kind of my secondary keynote, which dealt with my brother and
Mhm.
the bullying thing. But I'm a former drug addict. I'm coming up on 14 years clean and sober here in just about 60 days. And I came from a broken family, a very poor family, dysfunctional family, foster care system, the justice system of
Mhm.
incarceration numerous times. So I think that my life story is a story of hope and redemption, that you can come from anything, and if you're willing to put in the work, you can overcome those obstacles. So when I give my primary keynote, that's what I always tell my audience, is that I'm here today to provide you hope. That's the
Mhm.
word that I like to use.
For those individuals that are connected and want to get connected with you, how could they do so?
They can connect with me on Facebook. It's under Joshua Smith. If you find Miguel, go to mutual friends. You'll find me under Joshua Smith. I know that's a very common name, so that was why I gave you the kind of the secondary strategy there of no telling how many Joshua Smiths populate when you look. And you can also put in Josh or Joshua Smith on YouTube. Put karate beside of it; it'll populate my YouTube channel. It's mostly me doing karate tournaments some years ago, and I am on social media on Instagram under Hero Martial Arts. Those are my businesses, Hero Martial Arts.
Awesome, Josh. Thank you so much for being part of the program.
Yes, sir, Miguel. Thank you so much. And I want you to know, just a last couple words, if your people are
Mhm.
listening and following, I'm assuming they're already fans of you, but I wanted you to know that I am a fan of you. You're
Oh,
so impactful, so elegant with your speech, and so well prepared for it. I was really amazed at listening to you.
hey, I appreciate that, Josh. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.